everybody. Welcome to Live at the 2-Minute Warning from Vikings First and SKOL. It is the 2-Minute Warning. I'm going to hit the roll in right now. Welcome to Vikings First and SKOL's Live at the 2-Minute Warning. Next. Hey everybody, it's Dave here, and Jonas from Germany is joining us today as we watch the last 2 minutes. And the ball is snapped, Purdy drops back, fires it over the middle, ball deflected. I thought, no, they're calling it a catch. Damn it. How are things in Germany there, Jonas?
Yeah, it's good. I'm happy to be back. It's been a long break, although for me in Germany, it's obviously not a football-free break because we have a summer season that is still going on. So there's that.
Have you won the championship yet?
Not yet, but we are on a good way. We are on a good path right now. We are 5-1 right now. Still have 4 games to go. Yeah.
Okay, good for you. Good for you. What position do you play?
Running back.
Running back. Ooh, like Aaron Jones.
I could say I have 1 less fumble this season.
Mary says, hello, Jonas, and welcome. Well, I'm streaming, so I'm probably a little bit behind what folks in most of the viewing area here in the United States are seeing.
Yeah, actually, a few seconds ahead of me, so.
Oh, that's unusual. Hey, Peter, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. What have you thought so far? This has been a wild one.
I mean, I didn't see the first quarter because I had a game as a referee today.
Okay.
That started like 3 hours before kickoff. So even after I rushed home, it was like about half an hour in already. So I missed most of the first quarter. But besides the block punt, not a whole lot happened there. So it's good.
Okay.
I saw most of it, and I'm pleasantly surprised. I have to say that, especially of that defense. Like
the defense
last week,
well.
Yeah, like last week it was against Daniel Jones, against the Giants, who look like a team that might end up having a top 5 pick this year. But today against the 49ers, who had a dominant week 1 win, didn't expect it to go quite like that. I mean, it's not over, not even close to be over, but that last drive, I mean, with Jefferson off the field, with Aaron Jones off the field for most of that drive,
right?
Damn.
All right, like good defense play right there. Yeah, I know. And Jefferson's injury worries me a little bit. And Dallas Turner went down just a couple plays ago.
About
almost
the Jefferson
picked
injury,
off
I think.
By Van Ginkel.
About that Jefferson injury, I think they called it a quad injury, and he got the knee of he got Warner's knee on his quad, so it's just
a contusion, a bruise.
Yeah, probably. I think it's probably very painful right now, but I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing.
Okay. Now, for those that are not watching live, San Francisco defense held them, Vikings defense, to a field goal. They now trail by 6 points.
Now see an onside kick attempt, and then
Yeah,
if the
I think
Vikings
KOC just
recover
got
its
notified of it.
victory.
And
Don't
this
need the notification in this case. I think that's obvious.
is obvious,
Because,
but they have to notify him. So
yeah, kind of stupid, but it's the way it is.
it's the new rules. All the Vikings have to do is recover, and this game's over.
Yeah. Oh, do we? Would have been fun if we would have gotten a glimpse on that sheet the Niners coach held up there.
Okay, this is interesting. The conversation with the line judge and Kevin O'Connell.
I remember last year, rival team, their offensive coordinator got fired because he posted a TikTok. On that TikTok was
The
the
play
whisk
sheet.
coach. Yeah, it was visible, and he posted it, and he got fired for it, rightfully so. That was pretty funny.
It was.
So
Hey, forlorn, cheers, buddy.
So I was looking for something like that when the Niners coach held up that sheet for the onside kick. Would have been nice to see something, but I think there was a helmet right in front of it, so we didn't see the interesting parts.
Cool. It is interesting. Let's see how this goes. Vikings called a timeout. They're icing the kicker. Not that that ever works. And this is an onside kick. Maybe they were looking for if the Niners were setting up in a particular direction. Kicker put the ball on the side, on the ground. That's how he has it set up to be kicked. Kicks to the left. Ding-a-dingy, doesn't go 10 yards. Vikings hop on it. Nick Muse with the play of the day. And that will basically wrap it up since we have no timeouts left. The San Francisco has no timeouts left. It is nothing but victory formation here on out. I'm going to call it Vikings win. Vikings win. Vikings win. And the final score of this game is going to be 23-17 as soon as we get the clock to run to 0. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, forlorn. That's it. Vikings start out 2-0. And obviously, Germany just lost its internet because we lost Jonas. Hey, stuff happens. Alan, welcome in SKOL. What a crazy game this is. And if you bet the under on the points and bet the under on the spread, you win. And if you bet, of course, the Vikings, you win. But it's good. I love this formation. Snap, kneel, boom. First one's down, clock's going to run, and that is it. I repeat myself. The Vikings win. The Vikings win. Your Minnesota Vikings have defeated the San Francisco 49ers 23-17 in what was the biggest test of the season. There are two teams in the NFC that I consider contenders. First one being the Detroit Lions, unfortunately, and the second one being the San Francisco 49ers, who represented the NFC in the Super Bowl last year, and we just defeated them again in Minnesota. The 49ers hadn't beat the Vikings since 1992 when Dennis Green was coach. That makes 8 times after that in a row Minnesota has defeated the San Francisco 49ers in our home stadium, whether it be the Metrodome, TCF Bank, or US Bank Stadium. So that's good. SKOL Dan and 2-0 Super Bowl. Here we come. Well, I'm not ready to claim Super Bowl yet, but a 2-0 start for your Minnesota Vikings is a fantastic start. Let's just hope everybody comes out of this healthy, especially with Justin Jefferson and hopefully Dallas Turner as well. Hey, Raymond, welcome to the show. I'm going to go back to the single screen until Jonas comes back. Maybe his computer died or something. Don't know. We are still waiting on. We will have on. Darren's going to join us shortly, as well as Tyler. Sal is out at the stadium. She's been at the game. She started there at 6 o'clock this morning, setting up for her tailgating. And she will continue tailgating. They have an after party, and where she will be celebrating that as well. So it's good for her. That's a good thing. And we welcome Sal to the Vikings First and SKOL team. And if you haven't seen or heard already, check out her first shows this last week. Her shows are called Skolgers and Spice. She had a podcast on Wednesday and then a video and podcast on Friday, and they were absolutely fantastic. She's taken the Vikings a little bit different than most people in this space. She's going at it from a Vikings lifestyle perspective. So I think that is absolutely great, and we're happy to have her. Our Emmer 34-point swings off those 2 turnovers. That was a dominant performance. 34 points. Raymond's telling Mary he's feeling good. Why not feel good? This is freaking awesome. While we wait, let me go over and get some data and bring it under here where I can see it a little bit better. If I can see it a little bit better over here in this format. And we'll go from there. The special team screw up by Tristan Jackson was tough for Mr. Wright. Wright had a perfect punt. Yeah. There was easy mistakes to clean up. Not playing Warner on a weekly basis will help. Yes, R. Emmer, you are 100% correct. That's why he's one of the best linebackers in the league. Chuck says Flores, as in B-Flow, is one of the best players in the game. B-Flow has been outstanding in my opinion, just Dave's, but I agree with you. This is what we're doing so far has been fantastic. We'll see. Las Vegas and Baltimore, where are they at? 308, according to my TV, tied 23-23. Okay. And Green Bay beat Indianapolis. Damn it, Indy. What's your problem? We wanted them to go 0-2, but they picked one up. And right now, looky here. Tampa Bay has defeated Detroit 20-16. Didn't expect that. Well, sort of expected a good game there, but I didn't expect them. That means right now, your Minnesota Vikings at 2-0 lead the division. That's right. We lead the division. The Bears, however, play later tonight. They play the Sunday night game, and they are playing the Houston Texans. So, pardon me, that should be a good game. Burping up my beer. And we'll go on from there. That's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. And speaking of the Texans, I'll let you in on a secret. Tyler has a special guest for Wednesday's The Real Forno Show. It's going to be a good one. All right. Sports media enjoy eating crow. Chris, I love those sentiments. Love them, love them, love them. Mary likes the icing on the cake. Freddie says, SKOL, welcome to the show, Freddie. Good to see you once again. All right, let's look at the box score. Today, Sam Darnold was 17 for 26. He had 2 touchdown passes and an interception. Nobody liked the interception. He was sacked 3 times for minus 10 yards. Now, the interception I thought was a bad on his part, but it did happen. The one, he could have had another touchdown if he had gotten the ball to Naylor, but that was a good defensive play, and it was blocked early in the game. Saw that. We look at team rushing. Ty Chandler had 10 carries for 82 yards. Sam Darnold had 5 scrambles for 32, and Aaron Jones had 9 carries for 32 yards. That can't be right. I saw some good runs by Aaron Jones. But anyways, it is what it is, 146 yards of rushing. When it comes to receiving, Justin Jefferson, 4 for 133 and 97 on that one play. That was absolutely had to be the play of the game. Hey, Ryan, SKOL to you as well. When we got back there and the defense made the stop on the one. And I was telling my chat group, hey, let's see if we can get another 99-yard drive. And then, of course, Aaron Jones took that first snap and went all of about 2 yards, stopped by the Niners defense, Frank Warner again on the stop there. And then the next play, I believe it was, is when Justin Jefferson beats the safeties. And, oh, my God, there it goes. That was so fun. And if you noticed, all the way down inside the 5, you had a Vikings player make a block so Jefferson could go in. That player was Jalen Naylor. What a great day he had as well. So I'm happy for them on the offense. There is stuff to clean up and get better at. That's a good deal. I look forward to looking at breaking down the offensive line play a little bit more. There were some rushers that got through, but I also saw a lot of coverage type pressures on both sides of the ball where the quarterbacks didn't have the time or had plenty of time to throw, but nobody was open, and then took the sack. So it's going to be interesting. Is there anything you guys want to see? R. Remmer says Brando, Bradbury are his 2 dogs of the day. He hates it when they jump off the couch and sell. Who hates it when it jumps off the couch and celebrate? Brandel did, I believe, have that false start, which is not good. But we'll see on overall how things go. I'm not sure. Ed Ingram, I worry about on one of those sacks. But like I said, I think it was more of a coverage sack than anything. And I don't know if he had the guy. But we'll see when we break all that down. Now, defense. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball as we look who starred today. Total of 13 tackles, Mr. Blake Cashman. And I think he almost had a pick, too, or a sack. He was credited with 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss. Good for him. Ivan Pace Jr., who I saw everywhere. The guy's a beast. 8 tackles for him and 1 tackle for loss. When he busted through the O-line and he was ready to go, it was just fantastic. Now I'm going to bring in Mr. Tyler Forness, the man, the myth, the legend. As was said by a certain Bill Murray in Caddyshack, one of my favorite movies growing up. There he is, Tyler Forness, the man of the Real Forno Show. Well, buddy, how many stories have you written so far?
I've probably written 5 or 6 so far today. Let me tell you, this win brings out a lot of emotions. And I think there are 2 really big takeaways that you can take from this. One, this team has struggles putting others' teams away. They had a chance to put the 49ers down 20. Aaron Jones, who looked like he had good control of the football. You know, Justin Jefferson talked about the 5 points of pressure. He held it pretty tight. Fred Warner, who might be the best defensive player in football, punched it out. He had a phenomenal game. He got that interception on Darnold in the 3rd quarter, or maybe it was the 2nd quarter. I don't remember. But the 2 49ers touchdowns came off of turnovers the Vikings had in the red zone. So that's something to be noteworthy of. And he then stripped Sam Darnold in the 4th quarter when he was going out of bounds. That didn't mean anything, thankfully. but Darnold had the ball in his right hand, did not switch it over to his left, is what it is. But this team was resilient, and it didn't give up, didn't quit, it didn't hang their head. And I thought that drive from Sam Darnold in the fourth quarter to eat up over 6 minutes and 36 seconds of game clock might have been the best thing he's ever done in his career. Mm-hmm. No Justin Jefferson, no TJ Hawkinson, no Jordan Addison. And he meticulously led them down, not just running the ball. They threw the ball. That throw to Jalen Naylor was one of the best throws I've seen a Viking quarterback make in some time. Because not only did you have to gun it in there with gusto, but you had to throw an accurate football because it was surrounded by 3 defenders.
Well, he threw it back shoulder, which made Naylor turn around to get it. But that was good placement because that's where it was open.
It was perfect placement. You couldn't have asked for a better throw in any situation. That was just tremendous. He did not make mistakes. That Warner throw, I want to see on all 22 to kind of see what was happening behind him because we didn't get on the game broadcast a really good look of what was happening behind. They talk, the safety's probably going to come up. Well, I didn't really see that from the angles that we were given. So I want to understand kind of what he was thinking, what he was seeing. I think Warner's probably the only linebacker in the National Football League that makes that play, which is what makes it even more frustrating because that's just an elite player making an elite play. And if that safety really would have made the interception, it's be like, Darnold, what are you doing? No, quarterbacks make bad decisions, and hopefully he learns from that one. But the rest of the game, I thought Darnold was really good. He was calm in the pocket. He wasn't making poor decisions. He was really letting things play out and process and maneuvering around pressure really well. Now, there was that Nick Bosa sack when, he had all that space in front of him to run. He did a really good job overall of trying to pick out spots to run the football when receivers weren't open. I think he spent a little too much time trying to make something happen with a pass down the field when he should have ran there. So that was a little bit frustrating, but overall, I didn't think that was an entirely bad decision. It just kind of happened in a little bit of a goofy way by running into an offensive lineman. But man, if this team doesn't fix I'm not trying to pour salt in an open wound or anything, but they got to fix these turnover issues in key spots. You can't turn it over twice in the red zone and expect to win a football game. You just can't do it. Outside of that, this team played really well, played really hard. 5 sacks, 4 of them in the third quarter on Brock Purdy. They got consistent pressure. Pat Jones, who I thought might be a trade candidate, 4 sacks so far this year. And he's been a really pivotal part of that.
Mr. Opportunity. Whether he gets a blitz with nobody blocking him, or he gets cleanup stuff because Van Ginkel drove the quarterback, next to him. You can't fault him for his 4 sacks, but he's got 4 sacks.
Yeah, just overall, a really good performance from the defense. Mm-hmm. And you know what, Dave? I don't know if you saw me tweet this. The Vikings are in sole possession right now at first place in the NFC North.
No, I have not looked at Twitter hardly at all during this game. I was playing catch up all during this game, but it is what it is. Vegas just kicked a field goal to go up by 3 with 27 seconds left, and Baltimore has no timeouts.
Just that game's been brutal for Baltimore. They were up 23-13.
Really?
And just this early slate's been a little weird. Anthony Richardson really struggled against the Packers. Malik Willis did not throw very much, but he played well within the confines of what he was asked to do. And I think the one thing that you can really talk about with the Packers is, well, he wasn't asked to do much. Why was that? And I think that's a really fair talking point. But he went 12-14 for 122 yards and a touchdown in his first start, and he's probably going to get at least 2 more because we got news earlier today that Jordan Love is probably going to be out for 3 total games, and they're targeting a week 5 return, which means the Vikings would play Malik Willis. Next week, he plays his former team, the Tennessee Titans, who literally just traded him a couple weeks ago. But to kind of get back to the points about the Vikings, man, it's crazy. This Vikings team is 2-0, and they're giving you vibes that they're really good. really good. And I want to pump it up again. We talked extensively on the Real Forness Show all summer, including an entire episode, which is one of our most watched shows we've ever done, talking about what if Darnold is really, really good. And I think that needs to be continuing to be discussed, because after 2 weeks, we have enough of a sample size for us to start to see what he's going to be with this team on a longer term basis. I don't think it's large enough to say anything definitively, because remember, 3 weeks in Carolina, he was 3-0. Now, he played 3 bad football teams in that stretch. He just beat the NFC representatives in the Super Bowl at home. That's a really impressive thing to do.
That's 8 times in a row for Minnesota.
The Vikings have not lost to the San Francisco 49ers in Minnesota since 1992. My brother was born 6 months earlier that year. Just, it's remarkable how much success this team has had against the 49ers. And we've had some memorable ones. If you remember the 35-7 game in 2003 when Gus Frerotte threw 4 touchdowns to Randy Moss, that was the infamous one where Terrell Owens was screaming at assistant coach Greg Knapp. 2009 was the Greg Lewis game. Like, there have been some really interesting games that these two teams have had in Minnesota. And Dave, I'm truly amazed at kind of what this team was able to do. And I know there's probably going to be a lot of concern. I'm going to keep monitoring my phone for Twitter, because I know Kevin O'Connell's probably about to speak if he hasn't started already.
Over Justin Jefferson and Dallas Turner?
Yeah. I am not concerned about the Justin Jefferson injury, because it looked like he just got leg whipped in the thigh.
Yeah. So it's going to come out. It's a contusion. It's a bruise.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Bruises really suck, especially deep bruises in the thigh. They can take a while to heal, but it's not like you have a risk of re-injuring it. If you remember, look, one example that I think we could use is the movie Miracle, when I think it's Rob McClanahan gets a bruise in his thigh, and the doc says he's probably done. He's like, "Can he hurt anymore?" And he's like, "No, but he's going to play with a lot of pain." And he yells at him and says, "Hey, the thigh's a hell of far away from your heart." And then McClanahan screams at him and then goes back and guts it out. Like, you can play with an injury like this. I don't know why he didn't come back in the game. I think we're going to learn more, but I don't have a lot of concern long term about the Jefferson injury. It hurts. You ever been leg whipped? I haven't, but I can tell you by the looks of it, that looks like it sucked.
Oh, I've been hitting legs before. No, it does. It does suck. Because it didn't hit a pad. It was outside of that, it looked like. So now, I didn't see, they said Dallas Turner got hurt, but I didn't see how.
It looked like somebody banged his knee. It didn't look like non-contact or anything like that. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like he got, probably just hit his knee against something.
Okay.
Or maybe because he walked off pretty easily. It didn't look like, I've seen torn ACLs walk off pretty easily too, but I don't think it was anything like that. It looked too painful to be a torn ACL, which is kind of weird to say, but I don't ACLs don't look like painful injuries when they happen on the field, which I know sounds a little weird, but
or
the
TJ
Hawkinson injury. Yeah. The TJ Hawkinson injury, he just something feels off, and he walks off the field, and then he gets diagnosed with that pretty quickly. So hopefully the best for those guys. They get the Houston Texans next week, which we're going to see them tonight against the Chicago Bears. We'll see how that develops. But man, you should feel pretty good about this team right now. I said that on a show that I did earlier this week, where I said at the end, I thought the Vikings would lose 24-20, but I thought they would put up a really good fight, and you'd feel really good about the direction of this team.
Yes, you did say that. And who said the Vikings were going to win?
You know what? I'm okay being wrong. Pleasantly surprised with this team and how they played, especially defensively. They allowed a lot of yards, but they did not allow a lot of points. And they made plays when they had to, a couple fourth down stops. were really key in this game, including that 4th and goal. And that turned into that 97-yard touchdown, which, fun stat for you, Dave. The Vikings have had 5 total 98-plus yard drives in the history of the franchise. They have 2 of those this year.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy to think about. One of them was the 99-yard touchdown throw to Bernard Berry in 2008. I don't know what the other 2 are offhand. I want to say one of those happened with Kirk Cousins under Mike Zimmer, or maybe it was Teddy Bridgewater. I can't remember completely, but just bonkers to think about.
And Las Vegas wins that game. Surprise.
Man, that's brutal for the Ravens to start 0-2 like that. You can't, that's brutal.
Going over some of the stats. Total offensive yards today for the Vikings was 403 to 399. That tells you how closely matched these two teams were, which is something. Passing, we had 257 versus Purdy's 297. Rushing, we had 146 versus 102. Let's see. Turnovers were equal, 2-2. Well, both teams lost a fumble and both teams had an interception. The Niners had a bigger time of possession at 34 minutes and 48 seconds than the Vikings, 25-12.
And that was at 19 and change to 10 and change at halftime.
Right. So shows some efficiency on our part. Our Emmer Van Ginkel, everyone better go bet the over on him having 3 picks and 3 picks 6. That would be something. And I'll bet there's good odds on that. Van Ginkel again played well. He made himself a factor, which was great
Van Ginkel
to
didn't
see.
just play well, Dave. He almost had 2 more interceptions like last week, including on that final drive with that Deebo Samuel screen. Live update. This is why I've been kind of paying attention to my phone. Kevin O'Connell said Justin Jefferson had a quad contusion after a leg-to-leg collision with Fred Warner. He's sore, O'Connell said, but should be day-to-day. Said Dallas Turner had a knee issue, but he doesn't think it's long-term. So initially, both really, really good signs. But we'll kind of see what happens after tonight. I'm guessing they'll probably do some more tests on Dallas Turner and see how Justin Jefferson feels tomorrow. Maybe they'll do some form of MRI or ultrasound to kind of see what the bruise is, how deep it is. And I'm guessing it'll just be a pain tolerance thing for Justin Jefferson if he's going to play next week or not, just for the sole fact that it's a bruise. Bruises are kind of like that.
Well, and bruises, if it's bothering you too much, shoot it up.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect the control over it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Wonder where Darren's at. Darren said he was going to be here today.
Oh, I'm going to make fun of him so much, Dave. It's going to be a good time.
You hear that, Darren? I'm sure you're going to watch this. It's going to be interesting. Well, what have you got planned for tomorrow night?
Oh, Dave, we're going to talk extensively about some of the intricacies and nuances of this game. We're going to talk about Andrew Van Ginkel. We're going to talk and how he continues to make these kinds of plays. I'm hoping to get some time to really dive into a lot of the film tomorrow instead of Tuesday when I usually do it, to really see how some of these blitz packages worked, because they blitzed a little bit more on Brock Purdy in this game than they did against the New York Giants. I want to see some of this coverage stuff because, I mean, Purdy was pretty good. He completed nearly 80% of his passes for 319. Some of that is just because of how the Vikings were playing defense, a little bit of shell coverage and really relying on that pass rush. But the pass rush was pretty good. So I want to see what he's doing differently. I want to see kind of how some of the schematic elements are changing, because it's a different defense, but it's not too much different. We're going to talk about Sam Darnold and his renaissance and why the process, I think, is going to be the big reason why he continues to succeed. And it's not just the talent. You have to use the talent. And I think he's going about his process incredibly well. And that's making such a massive difference for him. We're going to talk pretty much every little angle. Then on Wednesday, we're going to have, what's his name? Cole Thompson, the managing editor of USA Today's Texans Wire, good friend of the show. He's been on before talking some NFL draft stuff. We're going to break down Vikings versus Texans. The first return of both Stephon Diggs and of Danielle Hunter. So it's going to be something that you're going to want to pay attention to because, well, it's going to be a big return for both players. And it'll be a fun football game because the Texans are a really, really, really good football team. And I'm really intrigued to see how that manifests itself, what that looks like.
Well,
and
we get
the Vikings are going to have a really tough test.
We get the opportunity tonight to scout them as everybody's watching them on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. And Daniel, how's that humble pie taste? Hey, glad to be wrong. I when I predict the Vikings to lose, it's not because I want them to. It's because based on kind of all my information and my professional opinion, I thought the 49ers were going to get the win. I'm glad to be wrong. I'm very glad. This Vikings team might really be something, and we talked about what that could look like a lot this offseason. A 2-0 start for the first time since 2016 is a tremendous one. And
yeah, we just don't want the ending that 2016 had.
No, we don't. And I don't think that they're going to be in that position. I don't think they're going to put themselves there because this team is built for success. And I think Brian Flores has made enough tweaks to his defense where we're not going to really have that. Who was it? Raymond asked about JJ. It's a quad contusion. He's expected to be day-to-day. I don't expect it to be a long-term issue. Looks like he just got a bruise. Now, thigh bruises can be very painful, especially when you suffer them in a football game. So my guess is it's just a pain management and pain tolerance thing. We'll kind of see how things progress throughout the week, but that's my guess at the moment. So Dave, I'm really excited about the direction of this Vikings team. I would much prefer to have a really successful year and not care so much about the draft pick position. Having a high draft pick rules, but considering what this team is going to be over the next few years, what you hope it to be, having a really good year is better than having a draft pick a few spots higher. Because that it's great for culture, it's great for momentum, it's great for camaraderie and team building and believing in yourself. Because you can believe all you want, but it's about truly like showing it and displaying it and not just words. Words mean something. They don't mean everything. Actions mean more. Actions are much louder. And having a successful season, even if it's just like, hey, 10-7, we make the playoffs and we lose in the first round. That's a pretty successful season compared to expectations, compared to what Vegas thought of them preseason with a 6.5-point win total. I would rather have that than have like the 8th pick in the draft and this team kind of stinks. So I think that's going to be much better. This team might feel old, especially because they're the second oldest team in the National Football League. But there are a lot of young players. There are a lot of players under the age of 30. And it doesn't help that you have a 37-year-old long snapper and a 35-year-old safety who's probably in the twilight of his career. Those things really help kind of elevate that. They got a lot of rookies, and they have young players who are ready to take that next step. And I think a really good season is the best thing that could happen to them.
Mm-hmm. For those who are asking about our former quarterback, Kirk Cousins, he doesn't play until Monday when they take on the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football.
Fun fact, this is the third consecutive year that Kirk Cousins has faced the Philadelphia Eagles in primetime in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
2 year in the 2022 season, it was Thursday night. 2023 and 2024, Monday night. The more you know.
Mm-hmm. Bob Sweet still calling for a 17-0 season. Bob, I hope you're right, buddy. It. From your lips to Odin's ears. Let's make that happen.
All right. Daniel mentions that those analysts need to start putting some respect on the Vikings. I think you're going to see that this week because last week it's, hey, I don't know, is this team actually good or did they just take advantage of a really poor New York Giants team? After this week, I think it's going to be an entirely different story. They came and they beat a top 5 team in the league, and they almost did it convincingly. but they didn't leave doubt that they deserved the win. They deserved to win this football game, and they did.
Mm-hmm. That may be the title of tomorrow's show. With that, any final words there, buddy?
Man, be excited, be optimistic, and look, we really may have something in Sam Darnold, and I am not going to start the conversation yet, but we talked about it this offseason. If he plays this well continuously, we may have to have a real conversation about keeping Sam Darnold long-term. And that's not a bad thing. Does it stink because we just picked J.J. McCarthy? Sure. But it's very hard to say no to a quarterback that's really good. And we just may have that in Darnold. We'll find out over the course of the next 15 games. But it's a non-zero chance. And I'm going to monitor this very, very, very closely. Because I think this is a Geno Smith-type renaissance. I really do.
Oh, very well could be. Very well could be. Well, with that, join us tomorrow night at 6:05 is the start time, 6 o'clock, as The Real Forno, starring Tyler Forness, right there, your Vikings beat reporter, talks about this team. And until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, your football, your family, friends, your good beverages, and for me, a strawberry rhubarb pie that's cooling. Ooh. Uh-huh. And we'll see you tomorrow. What do we say, buddy?
I hope that pie's on the windowsill like your June Cleaver in 1950, because that would just make it perfect. But enjoy the pie. Everybody enjoy a wonderful Sunday. SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And share this episode with your friends and even your enemies. We'd love it. Thanks for watching Vikings First and SKOL. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate each and every one of you. SKOL.